What the hell is going on in Queensland at the moment? When it comes to water and milk, they have lost the plot. Not Queenslanders, but the Queensland government, which seems to be asleep at the wheel. In what could blow all the strict agreements on water usage from our rivers out of the water, Queensland has allowed farmers to pump water from rivers, based on absolutely nothing, by the way, except, gee, you've been doing it tough and it's rained. There is no agreement, no clause in any agreement, especially the Murray-Darling Basin scheme, that says that that is permissible. And they have been sprung by New South Wales agencies who monitor this kind of activity via satellite surveillance. The pumping has outraged the New South Wales government, which has stuck to the rules and has kept bans in place which forbid New South Wales farmers from accessing what's called first flush extractions from New South Wales rivers in the Murray-Darling Basin. What Queensland is doing will deprive drought-stricken farmers in New South Wales of any relief which they desperately need, not to mention the lost opportunity to revive the ecology. Town mayors in places such as Wilcannia, Bourke and Brewarrina are just as outraged, and if the Palaszczuk government refuses to play by the rules, which apparently it refuses to do so, how about the new Federal Water Minister, Keith Pitt? I know he's a Queenslander, but Keith, make it your first order of business to come down hard on the Queensland government, can you? Or are the Nats too preoccupied with their own navels at the moment? Probably the latter. Meanwhile, I've been telling you about how the Queensland government ignored a locally owned Sunshine Coast milk supplier of a major contract to service a group of Queensland hospitals. You'll remember the story. Maloney Dairies lost the contract on what's got to be very dodgy grounds to a foreign-owned milk supplier.
A bit of a kick in the guts if they, all of our milk is supplied locally and in Queensland we can guarantee it. And so we're just greatly disappointed that why on earth aren't they practicing what they preach?
Practice what they preach, all right. So much for the new campaign, Buy Local. Now, the manager of Maloney Dairies told me back then that they were told they lost the contract because they couldn't produce the amount of milk required. He said, well, that's only 10% of what we produce. So someone's telling porkies here. Anyway, as fate would have it, the foreign supplier, Lactalis, has had to shut its Rockhampton factory because of a lack of supply from drought-hit dairy farmers. Now, surely the Queensland government needs to wakey and review the awarding of that contract tomorrow morning. The Rockhampton mayor, meanwhile, wrote on Facebook, to say I'm outraged about this is beyond an understatement. Words fail me. Well, words failed me when Maloney got ripped off in the first place. It was wrong. Something fishy about that. Now, whether it's water or milk, these decisions have drastic repercussions for jobs and, of course, stacks of families. It is time the Queensland Labor government got its act together and did what it promised to do.